A good Erev Yom Tov. I'd like to share with you an idea for the last days of Pesach. As we know, one of the names of Pesach is called Chag Aviv. Aviv means, also broken down, can be Av Yud Beis, which means the father of 12. It's the beginning, it's the engine of the upcoming 12 months of the year. You know, Nisan is the head of the months, it's the first month of the Jewish calendar. And if we look at this time of the year, Chag Aviv, it's the springtime, and we look outside and we see the beautiful blossom. In fact, we see there's a special mitzvah to make a bracha on the blossom of a fruit tree in this month. And the Shema Bni says what's happening in the physical world, the natural world, is a sign to what's happening in the spiritual world. In the physical world, you see things are growing, there's flowering, there's blossoming going on. It's the same thing for us in our own lives. It's an opportunity, it's time to grow. And just like we've been growing through Pesach, starting with the Seder night coming out of Egypt, and we've been growing through Chol HaMoed, and we go to the foundations as we cross the sea, and the Bnei Yisrael, when they cross the sea, they reach new levels of understanding, new levels of consciousness and connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When they said at the sea, even the lowest maidservants, they reached a higher level of prophecy than the prophet Yecheskel. When they said, Zeh Keli Vanveo, this is my God, and I will glorify him, they understood new and grasped new levels. This wasn't just a historic fact. This is actually something we relive every year in the calendar, the spiral of life. As we go through the calendar, we grow to higher levels and reach high levels of perfection and closeness with Hashem. I wanted to share an idea with you from one of my heroes, the Pia Setzner Rebbe, Rabbi Colonimus Kalman Shapiro, who is known, Hashem Yinokim Domoy, Hashem should avenge his blood. He was otherwise known as the Rebbe of the Warsaw Ghetto. You've heard me quote him many times. In his work, his first work, his printed work, was called, in his lifetime, was called Choivas HaTalmidim, How to Be a Student, where it describes to a person how a person can be a Torah-conscious Jew, to be a holy person, or somebody who is growing. And he tells us here that there's two important things a person needs that he speaks about in this book many times. Number one, a person needs to have an elevated outlook. He needs to have a higher perception, a higher Torah outlook, and that's number one. And together with that, a person also needs to strive for greater heights. And actually he says you need both, they're intertwined, you can't have one without the other. And let me quote his words. That is to say, you cannot maintain an elevated hashkafa, an elevated outlook, without constant spiritual growth. You need both. You need to have spiritual growth, constantly growing, and with that a person can attain an elevated perspective, an elevated connection of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And this is really what Pesach is about, and this is about growth, and that's the blossom, it's the flowering, and this is the opportune time as we count down, we rise through Pesach in these last days, and we go through the days, the 49 days of the Omer, counting to receiving the Torah. And this Sphira Sa'omer is about, again, rising perfection. Let's utilize these things. We've got to, in order to reach this level, to attain these levels of greatness, of new levels of consciousness, of understanding, of perception, on our level, on our time, of seeing the hand of Hashem in the world, in our own lives, and having that emunah and that bitochen, that we need to be constantly growing, as we're just going to stay the same. We'll be living life just in static mode. But as the Rebbe himself tells us, a person, Hashem wants to give us, sprout us spiritual wings that will help us soar to new and greater heights. And this we can do as we count through the Omer. We make a goal, something small, whether it's in a certain area of our character development, in our midas, whether it's in our Torah learning, whether it's acts of chesed, whether it's dedication to our family, whether it's in our prayer, each one of us in our own way, where we can take something small, to make a goal, to make it specific, where we can grow during this time. And through spiritual growth we can attain. As we change as a person, we receive as we go higher and higher and higher. The world looks different, just like the airplane takes off. The world looks different when you see it from a higher place. Through spiritual growth and improvement, we can see things and reach a new level of understanding and connection. And this is what the Rebbe tells us. One of the ways to do this, he says, if you refine your physical life, then it is impossible not to feel an awakening of more sublime thoughts and more exalted yearning, which will enable you to see beyond the veil of physicality. And that's what it's about, to lift ourselves to physical, lift ourselves out of the body about food. We're stuck at home and we're eating and we're noshing. It's so easy to get caught in the physicality during this time, but we need to elevate ourselves during this time. It's our time to grow through Pesach, to rise through Pesach, to blossom through Pesach. I wish you all a good Yom Tov. Enjoy.